So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update show. Thank you very much for all of you being here. Before I get into all the topics that I would like to share with all of you, don't forget to give me, you guys are already doing it. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This is the only channel, the only watch channel left out there that's bringing you truthful things. And I mean that. I mean that. And today, I have a couple of topics that's going to knock your socks off and blow your hair back. And I really mean that. And we also have a watch market update. You know, we don't have in this channel no crumb bums. We don't have no sardine cans. You understand me? We don't have no window lickers, crayon eaters, tomato cans, possum kickers, cow tippers. We have real people that recover from being a tomato can, They recover from being a tomato can. You might find it funny. I don't find it funny because you guys wish today you had all that money that you blew away. Unbelievable. That came out great. I'm just letting you know. Don't forget to give me that big thumbs up. Don't forget and subscribe to this channel so it can continue being here after I leave because I am going to be stepping down soon. Just to let you know. I know you guys don't believe that, and that's fine. I want to keep it that way too. Ladies and gentlemen, the price of gold is getting scary good. The price of gold is getting scary good. It is at $3,491.80. It closed yesterday, it closed at $34.91.80. Unbelievable what's happening out there, ladies and gentlemen. I know I keep on telling you things and you guys just put a big smile to your face. And that's fine. I want you to put a big smile on your face. Drink a little bit of water. My wife is unbelievable. She buys this special water. I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me about this water, She bought me this water and she says it's the best water in the world for me, for cleaning my body. I don't know what that means. The wife of mine says something else. But ladies and gentlemen, the price continues to soar. You guys want to continue crawling with the rats or you want to soar with the eagles? Because this is where I'm taking you guys, to soar with the eagles. What I do in my life, I want to share it with you guys. I don't want you to do it. I want to share it with you guys. You do later on what you want to do. With all the knowledge I'm giving you. With all the knowledge. But there it is. But now, I'm going to tell you something else. I told you about gold. Now I'm going to talk to you about rhodium. Ladies and gentlemen, papi, yo soy una jodienda. I got to be honest, man. The one that's been giving me all these tips. And he's here today with me. He's quiet in a corner. No other than Sweet Kid Kino to me. Joaquin to you. He is the one that's been giving me all this information. You're not going to believe this. What Sweet Kid Kino has told me. Gracias, Kino, por todo. It's unbelievable, that Kid Kino. Unbelievable. I told you last month. I told all you lambones and palomos. You know what palomo is? It means naive. Palomo is naive. Of course it's true. You know it's true, Mr. Silva. You know it's true. I told you guys last month, July the 4th era, I told you guys, listen, rhodium is right now at $5,700 an ounce. $5,700 an ounce. Google it. Google it. No, Kino, no te metas. Yo sé lo que estoy diciendo. No te metas. No te metas. No me escriba nada. Don't write nothing for me. $5,700 an ounce. And ladies and gentlemen, this is last month. Que son los lambones? Son lambones, son palomos. And today, it's at $7,325 an ounce. $7,325 $325 an ounce. Let that sink in. Let it sink in deeply. 5,700, 73.25. You can continue making fun of this channel. You can continue making fun of this channel. But this channel only tries to save your 401k, your children's tuition money, your grandma's house that she left you. That's what I'm trying to do from all these lambones out there. But ladies and gentlemen, a gentleman right now left a message, and he said, and you should see Bitcoin. Sir, what do you mean I should see Bitcoin? Tell me. I need you to tell me. And I'm going to tell you why I'm telling you I need you to tell me. Give me a sign. Show me something. You wrote down, and you should see Bitcoin. I told you about gold. I told you about rhodium. And then you said, and you should see Bitcoin. No, I thought you knew about it. But I'm going to talk to you about that then. I thought you knew something about Bitcoin. We're going to stop this conversation, and we're going to enter another topic. I told you people for the last 3 years, since Sweet Kid Kino opened up this channel, I told all of you out there, and I say it today again, the watch market is dead. And I'm going to prove to you and show you how much the watch market is dead. I'm going to show you today. I'm going to explain to you. I'm going to explain to all of you. I'm going to explain to all of you. You guys know what money laundering is, right? You guys all know what money laundering is. I'm going into a topic right now that I thought I would never talk to you guys about. I really mean that. For many reasons, I thought I would never talk to you about. But it's no secret. That's all over. If you Google it and you read it, you see that money laundering is been around for for many, forever. Forever. And the people that ran that kind of operation was the underworld. The underworld, drug lords, and all that good stuff. Anything that's anything that's not cool. And people did do that. Look at that, 116,685. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. Listen to where I'm going. It's incredible. And you had in the 30s and 40s and 50s, you had people that were laundering money with vending machines. Cigarette camels, potato chips, chewies, Bubble Yum, Bazooka Joe. They have vending machines. It's unbelievable. And then you had them also using restaurants, and bars, and then they started getting sophisticated. And a gentleman by the name of Al Capone, Al Capone, he did unbelievable, the word, the word laundering money, it came from laundromats, laundry, where you would put quarters and dimes and nickels to wash your shirts, your skid mark underwears, Al Capone, and laundromats, where you didn't have a laundry machine in your house, a dryer, you went to the laundry, It's unbelievable, but true. So Mr. Capone did that, and that's how the name, laundering money came around, and you had all that, and they got sophisticated, They got sophisticated because, you have to moving cash, cash smuggling, all that good stuff, And so they had to find a way. And technology was getting better for these people. They were doing all kind of things, And they started opening then, they went into shell corporations. I don't know if you guys know about this kind of stuff. I have to make it funny for you guys because somebody told me keep it simple for them. So I'm keeping it simple, and they started doing those, shell corporation, setting up companies offshore, to hide the true ownership of who that money belonged to. I'm giving you, different decades. I'm going around. Please be with me. Please, let me drink some of this beautiful water that my wife, that she loves me. She gives me this water. I don't know. She said this water costs like $30 a bottle. I don't know. Maybe she's lying to me to take my money. She's another snake. So, ladies and gentlemen, I love my wife very much. She can take whatever she wants from me. Take it all. I'm leaving this world. So, ladies and gentlemen, and so they started looking for people, money mules. Do you know what a money mule is? Money mules. They started, recruiting individuals, to go to banks, and open, a bank account, for these money people, mules, so they can start making wire transfers, back and forth, Listen to me so you learn. So when you leave here, you get smarter, and they respect you. Unbelievable. Great water, for real. Jungle juice, all the way. And ladies and gentlemen, you have these people that they were, money mules, I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to tell all of you out there, with the, offshore accounts, utilizing offshore bank accounts in, jurisdictions where there's no regulations, no regulations. Like, nah, papi, nothing. So we come to now, this time now, this time, I don't know how to say that word, present time, right? That's the word. You 10 should be proud that you're here. You 10. We only need 10. You 10 should be here. And you're proud. So then we come to the time where we have three things that they go with, that they work with. They go with placement, where allegedly they obtain this money. That's called placement. Listen to me, placement. Then it's called layering, layer. Like a brick layer, but layering. You know what I'm saying? Where the goal is to hide the illegal funds. You follow me? I'm teaching you more. This is everything that I'm telling you. I don't know about this. The one that taught me all this is no other than Joaquin to you, Kino to me. Unbelievable. That sweet kick you. Unbelievable. So I told you placement, I told you layering, and I'm going to tell you now integration, where the clean money is going to be reintroduced, where it's going to be reintroduced, the clean money, and this is how it is. This is how it is. This is the way they're doing things. And ladies and gentlemen, in the present time now, those people, those underworld people, they have all that green cash, paper money. They say, you know what, this is crazy. We can't be walking around with duffel bags full of, $400,000, $300,000 to move it from A to B, B to C, C to X, back and forth. We got to find a way to do this. And they got involved buying luxury watches. Luxury watches, Pateks, Rolex, Vacheron, AP, Richard Mille. They got involved in that. And it's unbelievable. They were buying all the watches they can get their hands on. Mexico, Colombia, Puerto Rico, all over the world, the United States, everyone was buying watches. Instead of walking around with a duffel bag like Santa Claus, they started buying watches and put it in the front pocket, put two in the front pocket, one in the wrist, and they were moving it around. But ladies and gentlemen, it's crazy because a gentleman used the term crypto, or Bitcoin. Excuse me, it wasn't crypto. He used Bitcoin. And this is something that you need to know. So when you're talking to others, you know what's happening. I want to tell you how bad the watch business has become, that all those people that were buying all those watches to, wash, clean, rinse, and repeat, clean, rinse, and repeat. I told you that word probably 2 or 3 years ago. I told you clean, rinse, and repeat. Clean, rinse, and repeat. The people that want to clean, rinse, and repeat their money. I told you like 3 years ago. A lot of you heard it and you found it cute, clean, rinse, and repeat. But I was telling you a subliminal message many, some years ago. I would say a good 3 years ago. I was telling you that. But, it didn't register, because you guys were still thinking about the Iron Sheik tunic, man. The Iron Sheik, you know? You know what I'm trying to say, and and you were thinking about boxing black eyes, and you were thinking about the hippo, the walrus, the two Jehovah Witness brothers, Big Pun Heavy D. You understand me? Cockeye. I mean, all these people. You were thinking about that. You were not thinking about what's happening. So, ladies and gentlemen, the people wanted to, clean and rinse their money, but they were tired of using the watch system, the luxury watch system. I want them all to hear me out there so they can say, damn, this guy is always dropping knowledge to all these people. He just drops it. He doesn't care. He says it. And he's saying the truth. Everything I'm telling you, just Google it. Google it while I'm talking. But then you have all these things happening. The watch market is upside down. The tariffs are all over the place. You have a post-corona, corona beer era. I got to watch you with those words. Corona beer era. You know what I'm saying? You guys all got a line. You don't know what was in there, but give it to me. You don't know what was. Don't get me started, guys. I don't want to talk about that. So anyway, again, going back to that gentleman that wrote down the word, Bitcoin. And ladies and gentlemen, the situation, it is so bad for the secondary grade watch market. The Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market, dealers, channels, all that stuff, backpackers, Montclair sweaters, Supreme hoodies, Red Backpack Supreme, sushi dinners, steak dinner, $17,000 steak dinner. Even that guy went bankrupt, The guy with the Patek Philippe t-shirt, sunglasses, and he cuts your meat. And he puts a Fred Flintstone board in your mouth, pushes it in, pushes it back out, like that. It got so bad. Ladies and gentlemen, the watch market is so bad. Listen to me and learn. And if somebody wants to give me instructions on this, please do. It got so bad that they found another loophole. These people, they have all this cash that is not, let's be honest, guys, with all due respect, these people that have all this money, these people are dodo birds, Maybe they knew how to make the cash, but they don't have no, some of them are just, you just can't teach stupid, You just can't teach stupid. And some of them, they made all that, millions and millions of dollars, but they don't know how to, they don't know how to move it around. You know what I'm saying? But this thing that they call a crypto, am I saying it right? Cryptocurrency? Am I saying it right? All these people now are into cryptocurrency. They're into Bitcoin. They're into that. Now they are clean, rinse, and repeat their money with cryptocurrency. This is another one, so you can see how they took their legs from under. Like this. They took it from under. Another one gone. But let me explain to you something. Those, just in case you don't know this, those were the ones that were carrying, listen to me and learn. And you might ask yourself, but how do you know, Juan? Oh, I got sweet Kino. Kino was from the underworld. Kino was from the underworld. Kino's recovering from all that. He's recovering from all that. And he knows about that. And ladies and gentlemen, these people now, they don't want to do no more business with the Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market. And I told you again, I'm going to tell you one more time. They are, listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen, so you can repeat it to your Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market dealer, channel, backpacker, whatever he is, so you can tell them. Listen to me. They have lost the most important customer that was carrying their business. They have lost the most important customer. Listen to me. They lost Kino. They lost Kino. They lost Kino. They lost the most important customer in the secondary grade watch market. Sweet Kick Kino. To me, Joaquin, to you. They lost them. They lost them, ladies and gentlemen. It's incredible that I have to continue telling you people these things. I'm not squealing on nobody. You know why I'm not squealing on nobody? Because that's all there. It's, your hair is not only, for your head. El pelo no es solamente para la cabeza. El pelo no es solamente para la cabeza. Hair is not only for your head. You gotta be thinking outside. The most important customer, don't ever forget this. I'm telling you, this video is gonna go viral. This video is gonna go viral. They might want to make an attempt on Sweet Kick, because everything that I'm telling you, I'm not telling you. The brains of this channel, the brains, la chola, la cabeza, chola means head, cabeza means head, the brains of this channel. It's no other than Sweet Kick Kino, to you, Joaquin, to me. He's the one that tells me what to say. He's the brains, I'm the voice. I am the voice. I'm telling you. And when I leave, you guys will miss the voice. But you will always have the brains. I'm telling you what it is. I'm telling you. You're not going to find nobody ever like Joaquin. Everything that I'm telling you is because he tells me everything. What to say and how to say it. And these people now, they're in a lot of trouble. The watch market is dead. Get it through your head. The watch market is dead. Those people, those underworld people, they left. They left. They went away. They went away. I have told you always the story of the eagle and that black bird. You know what I'm trying to say? The black bird. This black bird is a mother frogger. This black bird. This black bird eats every bird out there. I don't know. I forgot his name. Crow, I think it's Crow. He's a bad guy. He's a bad SOB. If anybody knows the name of that black bird, please put it up there. You know what I'm trying to say. And he is so bad. They're so bad, that black bird, that he wants to take on the king of the air, the eagle. And one day the eagle is just flying around, cruising, and that black bird sees him, and he says, I'm going to go beat up on this eagle, And the black bird flies, vroom, 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 and he lands on top of the head, the back. of the eagle, and he starts, bothering him. The raven, that guy, he starts pinching him in the head. Thank you very much, Mr. D. He starts pinching him in the head. But the eagle, man, the eagle's too smart. The eagle's too smart. These people, these bandidos, these underworld people are too smart, That's the only smart thing they have. They know how to move around. No more, laundry mats. No more bars. You know what I'm saying? None of that good stuff, No more restaurants. No more watches. We're going to go now with Bitcoin. They go away. And they, so the raven is pinching the eagle in the back. And the eagle is unbelievable. He is unbelievable. What the eagle does next to that raven, Mr. D told me the name. He lets him up there and he's, pecking on his neck on the eagle, and the eagle's just cruising. And while he's cruising, he's taking altitude. Listen and learn so you become smarter. And the eagle takes altitude and goes higher and higher and higher. And the raven in the back, cruising with the eagle, he's losing a little bit of air. He's kind of frogged up, La presión del aire. And he takes him to heights that he's never seen. And he takes him all the way up. All the way up. He takes him all the way up. And the raven loses, gets unconscious, and he flies all the way down. He said, Jolio, You know what I'm trying to say, D. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say, Damon. And this is how these people think. So they moved from the watches to crypto. And this is another broken leg to the Muppet Boiler Room's secondary grade watch market channels and dealers, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot continue showing you more and more and more what's happening out there with the secondary grade watch market. Today, you 14 people are going to come out of here smarter than ever. You 16, 15 are going to come out smarter than ever with all this information that I'm giving you. And I'm giving it to you for free. That's right. I own it to you. I own this to you. You subscribe to this channel. I don't know if all of you have, right now, all you 15 that are there, have you subscribed to this channel? Just give me a yes, Give me a yes. You know what I'm trying to say, Pete. You know what I'm trying to, Pete, watch, collector. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to beat, I try to tell you the truth, what's going on. They won't tell you that. They won't tell you that. Today, they're going to go, man, this guy again. This guy is like a tick en el joyete. You know what joyete is? I'm not going to tell you. You Google it. I'm not going to tell you. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. All these underworld figures, whatever it is, underworld figures. You put it. You put the names. However you want to put them in order, you put them in order. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something today because I want to close this big with you guys. Thank you, Pete. You might be thinking in your minds, it's only the corrupt people, the drug people, doing this, doing that. But ladies and gentlemen, you know who else gets involved in that? Allegedly. Kino told me to use the word allegedly. But you do whatever you want. If somebody says what I'm gonna say, my hairs will stand up and my socks will blow off. If anybody says what I'm gonna say uses cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, whatever you want to call it, my hair will stand up and my socks will blow off. Does anybody know what I'm going to say? No están preparados aquí. La gente no sabe esto. No saben. I said the underworld, underworld. Everybody, Ladies and gentlemen, even the, no saben, no lo saben. No lo saben. Nobody knows, right? What I'm going to say? It's going to blow your hair back. But I wanted you to blow my hair back. Nobody knows. Even the ICA uses them. Bobby, it's a big club. You see where it ended the story? You see where I went to with the story? Even the ICA. You don't know about that. Do you guys know about that? No, you guys don't know about that. It's how it is. You know? You don't know about that, Bobby. You tell him, Mr. D. You tell him, Mr. D. Even they use that now. That is the most powerful tool right now that is out there. Is that thing, that cryptocurrency, you know? ICA, I don't know. You ask your friends, they'll tell you. I don't know. I don't know. I see ice cream, you know, ice cream, you know. It's incredible. Even the ICA to do all their, you know, movements. You don't know about that, you know? It's simple. It's the most, it works like a charm. It works like a charm. And you can do whatever you want. And that's why I'm telling you that even the Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market channels and dealers and backpackers have lost those people too. They went flying away to other countries, you know, to look for other safe, you know. Damon, take it easy, Damon. Don't do that. Don't do that. They'll figure it out, you know. Unbelievable, and it's incredible. But you guys need to know this, because I want you to know all about this, because I'm stupid like that, you know. I'm stupid like that. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Listen how crazy this thing is. Prior to the 1980s, you know, money laundering was barely considered a crime. Did you hear what I just said? You know, prior to the 1980s, you know, money laundering was barely a crime. You know what was a bigger crime than that? Es que no saben, you know, they do not know. These people, this is why all those people did this to you people. They did it deeply. I'm a thorn, man. I'm a thorn. Prior to the 1980s, man, money laundering. Wow. Cheers to you, brother. You know who you are. Wow. Tax evasion, man. Tax evasion was a more serious offense. Isn't that crazy? You know how that guy Carepiña, you know, pineapple face? You know that guy pineapple face? You know that guy over there from Panama, you know, strong hand with the machete, you know, and he had like a pineapple face, you know? It's unbelievable. You know who I'm talking about or no? You come here to learn. You come here to learn for free. For free. For free, Papa. You come here to learn for free. That guy from Panama, nobody has put it up there. You know, they don't know. They don't even know. You know, again, we're telling you prior to the 90s. There you go again. I'm telling you, you know, that guy, you know, he was pushing a button from the bank. Bing, 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 bing. Wire, 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 wire. Wire, 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 wire. And then that guy, you know that guy? He's on fire, Pete. Mr. Damon is on fire. 2 in a row, because he's listening. Remember, I told you, ladies and gentlemen, that listening is a skill. Listening is a skill. Paco Gambino will sit me down, you know, with his, you know, coffee in his hand, shaking. He would tell me, Juan, listen to me. Listening is a skill. That guy over there from Panama, and prior to the 1980s, money laundering was barely considered a crime. Tax evasion was Man, a serious crime. But that wasn't. I'm telling you what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta tell you the truth. You know? And this is why they're hurting even more the secondary gray watch market. You know what I said wrong? The watch industry. I'm gonna give them a break. It's the watch industry. This is why you have all these machigonists from all these different channels promoting the whole day their watches, doing watch contents on new watches that are coming out on this watch, that watch, Omega, this, Rolex, this, that, the bracelet, the strap, because they're the ones, those channels are keeping them afloat. Because the watch industry right now, I told you, those people went flying away to the crypto, you know, ¿cómo es? ¿Cómo se dice aquí, no? Cryptocurrency. Papi, this is knowledge for you guys. This is chapter 19, how to become a Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market dealer. Chapter 19. I showed it to you for free. I showed it to you for free. I have more for you guys, but I see that you guys, you know, it's a little bit powerful. I had Damon did 2 times. He had to tell you what it was. He told you tax evasion, and he told you about, you know, Manuel. You know, Manuel. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Damon. Kino me dijo a mí, Damon, me dijo un PhD. Me dijo que yo era un PhD. Él me dijo a mí eso. He told me I was a PhD, you know? And I told them always in a funny way. I told you guys in a wrinkled way. But I'm telling you the truth, you know? You know, maybe for another day I'll tell you more about this. But this is what it is. You know, I'm telling you, man, moving that bulk of cash. The last time you saw that way was, you know, when you saw that guy in that movie, you know, the guy with the face scar, you know, face scar. You saw him with the duffel bags in the movie. That doesn't happen. These people today, even though they're dodo birds, they got very smart. You know, they became, you know, they have people around them that they were smart for them. Have you ever heard that before? You know, you're a dodo bird, but to make yourself smart, you surround yourself, you pay smart people to be smart for you. I bet you don't know that either, but that's fine. You know, Damon told you already that you guys are getting a PhD today. I don't know how you say it. Maybe there it is. There it is. The PhD. Wow, incredible! What he just, that guy. That's Mr. Mike from Florida. You know, I'm telling you what it is. I know that you guys, you know, don't want to hear this stuff. You guys want to continue hearing about watches, movements, rotors, you know, leather straps, alligator straps, Velcro, you know, all that stuff. You know, that's what you want. This is why they keep on giving it to you. Why they have you mesmerized, while all these channels brainwash you into telling you what you need to believe. That's what you do. I read the book so many times already. You know, it's unbelievable. You know that guy. You know the guy. You know the guy that there were like 3 brothers, the Marx brothers. Marx. You know Marx. The book. I read it. That book is unbelievable. It's there. It tells you everything for free. For free. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to drink a little water and I'm going to go into a watch market update. You know, ladies and gentlemen, our first watch market update of the day is the Rolex. You know, before I go into the watch market, I had to tell you all this so you understand more why the watch market is dead, guys, all right? I really mean that. You understand me? They lost those customers. They went elsewhere. And those are the people that are buying $3, $4, $5 million in watches. Okay? And you put them in your wife's, your grandmother, your lovers, your side chick, your son, your daughter, your grandchild. Put them in the Pampers. You walk in. You fly from your country, land in JFK or LaGuardia, you know, and move around. Move around. So I hope you understand what I was telling you. I didn't want to come out of character, but I had to. I believe I had to. So that's what it is, all right, guys? Anyway, our first watch is a Rolex stainless steel Submariner. I call this watch the James Bond. It's a 41 millimeter with a black ceramic bezel and a black dial. You know, reference number is the 126610LN with a date. I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 41 millimeter. This watch is getting stronger and more powerful than the Froggy Legs. You know, the Froggy Legs is the one with stainless steel, you know, black dial and the black ceramic bezel. But the James Bond, for some reason, is just the classic, you know, the classic one. And I'm going to tell you, this watch has a retail price of $10,800. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch more. You know, you're asking for this price, sir. You got it. Don't pay more than $11,000. And okay, here it is. Our next watch is the Froggy Legs. Froggy Legs, you know, the Rolex Submariner Froggy Legs. Green ceramic bezel, black dial, 41 millimeter. Retail price is $10,800. And when it was first released, this watch went all the way up. You know, like the song, all the way up. It went all the way up to 11. No, I said it wrong. It went all the way up to $21,000. Doc Mick hit it right, almost hit it right in the head. Doc Mick almost hit it right in the head. And now he changed it to 14. I don't know what happened to him there. But I'm going to tell you this. So it went all the way up to $21,000. You know, the Froggy Legs, green ceramic bezel, black dial, 41 millimeter. You know, unbelievable. Same reference too, you know. Don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch more than $11,700 and dropping. Okay. Listen, I bought this watch for my son, I would say in September of last year. And we paid for $10,800. And I'm telling you what it is. Okay. I'm telling you what it is. Scout's honor. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an unbelievable watch. This is for a gentleman that requested these prices on these watches that I'm going to give. This is an AP Royal Oak 41 millimeter, rose gold with a leather strap. White dial or black dial. 26240 is the reference number, OR. Retail price is $59,000. $59,000. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. The only thing that has rose gold is the casing. The rest is leather or alligator, whatever you want to call it. One of those things. And the buckle, you know, rose gold. Okay? And the retail price of that watch is $59,000. $59,000. And I'm going to tell you, sir, if you're looking into that watch, don't pay for that watch more than $61,500. And I don't feel like doing drops today. You know that water's, you know, it could bloop, 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 you know. So I'm taking it easy, you know. I'm telling you what it is, all right? So you have that one. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a watch that they told you in the Corona era, when this watch, you know, becomes a collector's grade, collector's choice, collector's dream, is going to go all the way up to $100,000. You know, it's a beautiful watch, and it truly is. It's a Rolex white gold Submariner. They call this the Smurf. It has a blue dial and a blue ceramic bezel. Beautiful looking time machine. Reference number, the 116619, with a retail price of $39,650. This is a beautiful watch. And if you're looking for this watch, you don't want it naked and you don't want it half-ass. I don't think half-ass is a bad word. You don't want it half-ass. You want this watch to be, you know, with everything, with all the bells and whistles. And I'm going to tell you because I have to tell you the truth. You know, I want to protect you guys from, you know, continue giving your money away to these people. Now that you heard what happened to their number one customer, you know, the number one customer, they're gone. They're gone. They're not there no more. They're into crypto now. So you know what's going on. You might be thinking, damn, this one, bro. I mean, self-proclaimed. I say it myself, self-proclaimed. Damn, Juan, that one is unbelievable. Telling us this, it makes even more sense. Don't pay, ladies and gentlemen, for that blue dial, blue ceramic bezel. You know, this Doc Mick came in blazing. You know, he came in blazing. Bah, 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 bah. There's a new sheriff in town. Mick, you know, Mick, Florida. And I'm going to tell you, because I'm stupid like that, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch more than $31,500 and dropping. You do whatever you want. It's your money. You do whatever you want. Our next watch is an AP Royal Oak rose gold leather strap. You know, beautiful watch. You know, unbelievable leather strap. Reference number 26320OR. Unbelievable. Chrono, beautiful watch. You know, these watches are unbelievable. You know, like the 26240 Chrono, this is the 26320. You know, unbelievable watch. You know, retail price is $41,345. 41,345. Go ahead, Mick. Throw it out there. Let's see where you're at with this one. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because I must tell you this. I must tell you. Don't pay for that watch. Pow, pow. Don't pay for that watch for that beautiful 26320 rose gold. 41,345. Don't pay. I mean, you do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $48,000 and dropping. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Patek Philippe Nautilus. You know, Patek Philippe Nautilus. Beautiful watch. You know, with a 40.5 millimeter casing. The 5980. Stainless steel 5980. But not with the blue dial. Not with the blue dial. This has a white dial. I repeat to you, this watch has a white dial. The retail price of that watch is $59,703. Ladies and gentlemen, those underworld figures are gone, man. They're gone, and they know it. And now you know it. If you make this video spread around like wildfire, then the other rest of the dodo birds will figure out what's going on. What are you guys are going to do when I'm no longer around, huh? What are you guys are going to do? Okay, Creative Experiment says $89,000. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that Patek. Stainless steel, 40.5 millimeter casing, 5980 white dial. Retail price, $59,703. Don't pay more. You do whatever you want, but don't pay more than $76,500. I guess you guys are not hearing what I told you. They're gone, Papi. They're gone. They're gone, you know. They went away, Papi. They went away. They went away. These people went away to, you know, a different part. You know, they're not here no more. Those customers over there now, they're you know, those customers are dealing with the ICA, you know, that's what they're doing now. They're working with them, you know. It's unbelievable, you know. I know that you guys don't know about that, but it's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you how things are. Nobody's ever gonna tell you, but I'm gonna tell you because I'm stupid like that, you know. I'm stupid like that. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Patek Philippe Complications. 41 millimeter. Unbelievable watch, ladies and gentlemen. This is an unbelievable watch, this beautiful Patek, you know? And I'm gonna tell you this model number, this watch, is the 5326 white gold, 41 millimeter. You know, it's an unbelievable watch, you know? It's an unbelievable watch. So it's an unbelievable watch. And I gotta tell you that this watch has a retail price of $87,515. You know it, Doc. You know, you're a smart man. You know it, Doc. And I'm going to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, because you guys need to know this. You guys need to know all about this. Don't pay. Sir, you wanted this watch market update on this model, and I'm giving it to you. The 5326 white gold with a leather strap. $87,515 is the retail price. Don't pay for that watch. If I was you, and I know you say you like it because of all the complications it has and all that good stuff, I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch more than $58,500 in debt. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. You're very welcome, Christopher. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And those three models that I just gave you were for Mr. Christopher, okay? It was for him. He's a loyal subscriber to this channel. He's a loyal subscriber, and I appreciate everything that he does, all his efforts. I mean, all of you. But I'm saying he's here, you know, he's here watching the live podcast, you know, I call it the podcast. Thank you very much. Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, is a Patek Philippe Complications 41 millimeter stainless steel world time flyback chrono. You know, this is unbelievable, this watch. It's unbelievable. You know, leather strap as well. Chronograph. Retail price is $68,109. Sir, you asked me for this. You know who you are, and I'm going to tell you, you do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $44,000 in debt. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Our next watch is the Patek Philippe Complications 40 millimeter platinum. Listen to this, man. Listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this, gentlemen, what I'm going to tell you now. Patek Philippe Complications 40 millimeter platinum 5960 annual calendar. Platinum. Unbelievable. 40 millimeter. Retail price is $98,900. Can anybody guess what price I'm going to give you on that watch? For real, on this one, I'm going to ask you for your help. What price am I going to tell you for this watch? Okay, it's dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. Beautiful, SAT 45. Wow, beautiful. Beautiful. I said beautiful. Wow. Nobody has an idea? Nobody has an idea? You're sad? Okay, we're going to keep it with sad then, right? Ladies and gentlemen, this is an unbelievable watch. Annual calendar chrono. Unbelievable. $98,900 is the retail price. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't get scared. You want it full set with all the bells and whistles. Full set with all the bells and whistles. Wow, that Doc Mick is on fire, guys. He really is. Doc Mick is on fire. Sad too, he's on fire. And I'm going to tell you to even it out for both of them. For Doc Mick and Sad, don't pay for that watch more than $42,000. $42,000. Leather, you know, with a leather strap. The casing and the little buckle. That's what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Patek Philippe Complications with a 40.5 millimeter casing, annual calendar chrono, 5961 rose gold. Listen to this. Listen to this, guys. Listen to this. So you understand how, let me tell you, at one moment, these complication watches were, listen, this is what those guys wanted. You know, the underworld. They wanted these watches, these monster watches. You know, where these people would tell them 225, 240, 230, you know, and they didn't care because it was like era como una cajera. Ching, ching, you know, when you were a young kid, you would go shopping, groceries, your mother, they used to have the old-fashioned cashiers. Ching, those people had that kind of money. Ching, and just give it away, you know. And this watch that I'm going to talk to you about, this Patek Philippe Complications, you know, 40.5 millimeter casing, annual calendar, chrono, 5961 rose gold, has a retail price that's going to knock your socks off and blow your hair back. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You know what I'm trying to say, Damon. You know what I'm trying to say. The retail price of this watch is scary. $178,862. $178,862. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, this is the one that will come in crypto, you know, give me crypto, you know. They changed, they went from the watches to crypto. It's easier. And they will buy that watch. They didn't care. They needed to clean, rinse, and repeat. Do you understand me? Clean, rinse, and repeat. $178,000, 862. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and don't pay for that watch. Voice it around. Let your friends know. Let your friends know. Let your friends know. Don't pay for that watch more, and I mean more than 100. Don't get scared. Than $117,000 in dropping. And I'm talking about is dropping seriously. I'm being kind still. I'm being kind. Wow. See, I said 110. I said 117. He went even further down, even more down. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a watch that you guys need to know about. And this is my last watch market update for today. My last watch market update. They have this watch all around different platforms trying to fleece you because there's no more underworld figures to buy their watches. Listen, you had so many things happening in the past, I would say in the past 3 years, that it was crazy. You had all the free government money, PPP loans for free, SBA loans for free, government grants, government checks, government unemployment, stimulus checks. If you had a big business and you didn't have the funds to pay your employees, the government was saying, how much is it? You need 5 million? Here's 5 million. It was crazy money, Bobby. But these people blew it all away. They blew it away. They just blew it away. They wish today they had all that money. I hope you guys, today I have dropped, today I feel like this is one of my better videos, but that's up to you guys. What I believe is one thing, and what you believe is another one, and what Sweet Kid Kino to me, what King to you believes is another one, But that's over. The free government has dried up. I never got on it. I wish I could have got on it, because it's, all free. And they are asking for this watch. It's a 5712. Not converted, Papa. The real thing, 5712. Unbelievable. Rose gold, 40 millimeter. 5712 for the retail price of $92,830. For your information, I have seen this watch being parade, como una prostituta, like a prostitute, around. Prostitute is not a bad word, right, guys? When I tell you what they're asking for, you're going to go, wow, these people are crazy. They're asking for more money than in the Corona era. An example, so you understand what I'm saying. They were asking for this watch $235,000, $240,000. Listen to me and learn. They're asking more money for this watch than the 5990 rose gold blue jean dial. Rose gold 5990. They're asking more for this 5712. Maybe somebody has the smartness to tell me why. I'm gonna give you the price, but maybe somebody will tell me, why. These Michigans, they're bananas, Not converted, the real McCoy with all the bells and whistles. $92,830, and I'm gonna tell you, nobody told me nothing. That's what they don't know, Told me a lie, whatever you want, I accept that. Whatever you want to throw at me. Méteme lo que tú quieras, un forro. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch more. And I mean, don't pay more. I mean, you do whatever you want with your money. You do whatever you want with your money. But don't pay for that watch. This is our last watch market update of the day. Don't pay for that watch more than $183,000 in dropping. All right? I already gave you the formula. But they don't have no more. You're not supposed to know what I told you today. I really mean that. You're not supposed to know what I told you today. Only only certain people know about this, and you get to hear stories, and they're gone. They're gone to that new thing that this gentleman said at the beginning of the show. They went away with that cryptocurrency Bitcoin, and they're all together there now. They don't need no more watches. The bottom line is they don't need no more watches to buy from these secondary grade watch market channel dealers, backpackers, fly by Corona backpackers. They don't need them no more. They got that thing. They got that thing, that new currency, They don't need it no more, Papa. They don't need it, right? I hope you enjoyed this watch market update and you really, really learned something and you appreciate what you learned today for free. For free. This is my gift to you guys. This is my gift to you guys. So when I am no longer here, you will always remember that you have a library that you can go back and look at the videos. I'm telling you. I know what I'm telling you. That crypto has crippled. That crypto has crippled. Listen to the word. That crypto has crippled the secondary Muppet Boiler Room channels and dealers. Totally. All right, guys? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like my video. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let your friends know. Let this channel continue growing, ladies and gentlemen. We're still stuck somewhere, we're still stuck somewhere, So help the channel out. We also have a watch channel platform. It's under my name, Juan Felipe Nieves. It's in Facebook. Try to request to join the channel. Maybe you guys will get in. All right, guys? Anyway, guys, like me and Sweet Kino say always, take care and brush your hair. Have a beautiful weekend, guys. Gracias por todo. Thank you very much for your support. All of you.